Hey everyone. So I've got some big news. Um, Please excuse how I look today. I'm a little rough, I know. A combination of steroids. That's just chemo brain. There's no steroids. Combination of allergies, and basically a very emotional past couple of days. Today specifically, I put Timothy on the school bus for the first time ever. He started kindergarten, so he comes home in about an hour. Um, I've been crying about that. I cried this morning. I cried when he got on the bus. I cried when I came back in the house. I'm all the emotions right now. But on top of that, I'm also very emotional because, spoiler alert, I am done with chemo. Yes. How? I know you're asking. Um, the past week really has been a whirlwind of change of plans, information, tests, this, that, blah, blah, blah. So to back it all up, I'll take it all the way back to last Tuesday when I was scheduled for my 5th chemo infusion. I was all hooked up. I mean, literally my port was accessed. I'm sitting in there waiting, and my chemo nurse comes in and she's like, I'm waiting to hear back from the oncologist right now. I'm looking at the results of your echo, and you've fallen from some of your numbers, but you're still in a safe parameter, but I want to talk to her to see if I can go through. So I'm like, all right. I haven't explained this before, just so you know, like what she's talking about. My chemo regimen is 4 things that I get infused. I get 2 chemotherapies, and I get 2 what are called targeted therapies. And those are actually like antibodies. They're not chemo drugs, but they're infused with the chemo drugs. That's my whole regiment. The 4, it's called TCHP. It stands for each letter of the drugs. Anyway, the targeted immunotherapy specifically is taxing on my heart and anyone who gets this on their heart. So what you do is if you're on this regimen, every 3 months you need to get echocardiograms, and that's how they just monitor your heart, see if it's showing any signs of damage, and if it is, they need to figure out what they're going to do about that. Either give you a pause in your chemo treatments to have your heart rebound. Some people get specific drugs for it, whatever it's going to be. So anyway, I dropped about 5 percentage points from my baseline before chemo to now this 3-month marker, and that's what my oncologist wasn't really comfortable with. So it ended up that at my infusion, they de-accessed my port and said, no, we're not doing chemo today. You need to go see a cardiologist. You need to have him, a specialist, obviously, look at what's going on, and we'll go from there. So I'm thinking, okay, great. Now I'm like 1 week delayed, on my whole chemo experience, which was a bummer, but I mean, that's out of my control. What am I going to do? So 2 days later, I meet with the cardiologist, and he tells me, I'm not really worried about that number. It's not that bad. Your heart is still healthy. Yeah, you've shown a decrease 5%, but in the decrease is in the, what is the word? A fusion, a fraction, whatever it is that shows how efficiently your heart is pumping out blood. So like I started at like 55 to 60%, and I dropped to 50 to 55% in that range. Now, he said he wasn't concerned about that. What he was concerned about was strain on my heart. So he said, I want you to have a stress echocardiogram, and that is scheduled for tomorrow. So I thought, okay, fine. Then I'm realizing, well, that puts me out 2 weeks now for my next chemo. And frustrating again, but I'm like, what can I do? So that was last Thursday, and then Friday I get a call from my oncology, my chemo nurse, and she says, your oncologist decided that, whatever the cardiologist said, she is not comfortable proceeding with the rest of your chemos, your last 2 chemos. She thinks at this point you have gotten the most advantage you can out of chemo, and at, avoiding risking damaging your heart further with 2 more rounds and then making you no longer a candidate for surgery. We're not doing any more chemo on you. So at first I wasn't getting it. I'm like, wait, what? She's like, no, you're moving to surgery. She wants you to move your surgery up, basically ASAP. And that's it. So I asked, okay, so when am I going to continue my last 2 infusions of chemo? And she said, you're not. And I mean, obviously, I was in mix of emotions because I'm elated at the fact that I have to never do chemo again, God willing. But in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, well, I've always planned for 6 rounds of chemo. I somehow had it in my brain that I needed 6 rounds of chemo to eradicate the, cancer that much further. And now I'm only getting 4 out of 6. So I feel like, am I not doing enough? Am I not throwing enough chemo at my cancer? And they've assured me several times now that's not the case. Um, I was doing chemo before surgery, which is very common with my type of cancer, with HER2 positive breast cancer, because, and since I'm early stage, the chemo, HER2 cancer tumors respond very well to chemo and it shrinks the tumor. So that then allows me, when I need my surgery, it makes it more likely that I can get like a lumpectomy or less, invasive surgery, and I don't necessarily have to have a mastectomy. And that's exactly where I'm at now. So, yeah, that was Friday. And this weekend we were really busy, still trying to wrap my brain around that. The good news, and then also the news that right as I was on the phone with my nurse, my breast surgeon calls me and says, yeah, I talked to your oncologist. We're moving your surgery up. I have you scheduled for Friday. And I was like, what? And he's like, yes, Friday the 31st. I'm going to be out of town that next week. She wanted it sooner rather than later. And there you go. So I was also wrapping my head around that because my surgery wasn't going to be until the middle of October. And now it's Friday. It's just a handful of days away. So, yeah, I met with him today. We went over last minute details. I'm going to have a lumpectomy. And what's going to happen is he's going to start by removing the sentinel lymph nodes, which are like the first lymph nodes that if cancer travels from a tumor, that's usually where they go. So he'll start with removing one, or he doesn't really know yet sure how many. Those actually get sent out to pathologists while I'm in surgery, and they look at those and they determine if the cancer had spread or not. So I'll know when I get out of surgery what's going on in there, which is, pretty cool. And if they don't show signs of cancer having spread into them, I mean, totally awesome news. Also, he'll then move on to removing the tumor or whatever's left of it, and we know for a fact that it has shrunk. So the most awesome thing would be if it's gone completely and just that little titanium marker clip is left. So super cool. Surgery obviously is kind of scary. I told Tim I'm more scared of surgery than I was going into chemo. I don't know why, but yeah, that's my big plan for Friday. So it's something that I can go home that day. It's nothing major that I had to stay overnight or anything like that. And he assured me that the recovery should be okay. It actually won't be too bad. So, wow, yeah, I mean, even talking about this right now is a little crazy. But that's what's going on. And like I said, this is TC's first week of school. I'm waiting for him to get home pretty soon to hear about his big day. But yeah, it's a busy week. Just doing fun with my mom and my sister probably tomorrow. Wednesday I have to go in for like pre-admitting testing for surgery. Thursday I go for that stress echo, and then Friday's my big day. So, yeah. So I mean, just keep me in your prayers and your thoughts, especially on Friday. That's my big day. Hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully it's nothing but good news and easy recovery, fast recovery. In my next video, I can be telling you how it all went. So just want to put an update out there. I know it's been really busy, and I saw a bunch of people this weekend that I updated, but I know some of you I didn't get a chance to see or talk to, so I just wanted to keep you in the loop. But that's all I got for now. I'll post this video, and then I'm going to go wait outside for my little buddy to get out the bus and then probably cry again. That's what I've been doing all day, is crying about stuff. So that's what moms do. But that's all. Keep me in your thoughts, keep me in your prayers, and I'll talk to everybody soon.